Okay, back here to the front of the quad. The front drive unit is pretty much the same. You can see it has a fill cap there, and then there's a drain plug underneath. Ordinarily you wouldn't have to take the bash plate off, but it was getting pretty, stock one's pretty flimsy and was getting pretty beat up, and I put this aluminum plate that goes back behind the differential, so I'll end up pulling the bolt through my bumper here and the other bolt. And I've got a couple of wiring conduit hangers on that piece of plate I put on there, so I'll have to jerk that off, and we'll just change the front differential oil the same way. Alrighty, got the little bash plate off there, and just take a little shot under here. Let her clink. Okay, hopefully you can see this and kind of see why I felt it necessary to add some bash protection here, but also wanted to show you the 10 millimeter bolt right there is the drain, and let's go ahead and dump that out the same way and fill it in that top thing there. Well, I've got the bash guard out here. I'll probably also take a good look at the covers to the CV joints, both inside and outside, look for any cracks, and we'll also talk about how to check the alignment on this thing, as long as we've got stuff out of the way where it's a little easier to get to the tie rods there in case we need to make an adjustment. Sorry to get the shakes sometimes. Okay, we've got the front differential buttoned up, and I also went ahead and put some oil in the engine up to the full mark. This thing is a semi-dry sump engine. To get an accurate oil reading later, we need to let it idle 3 or 4 minutes without any throttle at all, and then let it sit. And the thing won't shift real well unless the oil level is right at the full mark. So anyway, we're going to turn our attention to the suspension for a minute. While I've got it sitting here, I'll wiggle the throttle or the handlebar a little bit and just kind of feel for any abnormal slop. One of the things that ATVs sometimes have an issue with, at the bottom of the steering stem here is a little plate that the inner tie rod's attached to. That's held to the steering stem with a nut on the bottom and a cotter pin, but it's not a castellated nut, it's just a cotter pin through the shaft so the nut can't fall completely off, and those have been known to back off and get sloppy. So next thing I'm going to do is jack up the machine. Anyway, got the front end off the ground pretty good here, and I'm going to grab each tire and try to rock it this way. Basically, I'm feeling for any slop, which could be either the ball joints on the 2A arms, or possibly slop in the wheel bearings if I got any, and also rocking it end to end. And if I end up with any slop, that could possibly be the tie rod ends. And if that's the case, I'd end up needing to replace them promptly. Once those get worn, if they get too bad, they can actually separate, and of course that could lead you to a crash. Actually, actually have a little slop that I can feel is in that inner tie rod. And so as soon as I get parts, I'll be replacing those. The other thing I'll do is spin the wheel, make sure the wheel bearing feels smooth, and also I'll look at both of these drive shaft boots real carefully for any signs of cuts or tears, anything like that. And we'll jack up the back of the machine and do the same thing for the rear end. The other thing we want to check suspension and steering wise, while we've got it off the ground, is running the steering through its full range of travel. Looking for it to be smooth, not have any slop in the steering shaft, and not to bind up, that sort of thing. And that looks good. So it looks like the only issue I have, and I'm a little surprised, is some play in the tie rod ends. Back end looks okay. There's a little bit of play in the CV joints, but not too concerned about it at the moment. So with that, we'll set it back on the ground and we'll check the alignment. Spec is about 7/16 of an inch toed out, as measured at the tread surface. Basically, should be 7/16 wider at the front than they are at the back. How we'll measure that, basically, if you have one of those rods with the pointers that you use to check a frame for bent, that'll work. Otherwise, anything kind of U-shaped that you can use as a point of reference that's about the width of the tires. Basically, you can't measure the width of the back of the tires directly, of course, because the quad's in the way. Well, we'll make that a little more clear here when we set it down on the ground and actually do it.